perhaps we should try to make documents sound interesting. This room is archives, and we are lucky that they exist, because in our families usually we throw papers away. But here we have a big collection, not only what you see there, but if I open cupboards for you, you can see there are cupboards full. And it's been quite an interesting period the last few years. We have discovered things which are not recorded history. We find that we have an ancestor who was procurateur du blé, procurator of wheat. It was his job when everybody in Malta was in the 1700s planting cotton. The grand-maître, the grandmaster, was worried. He said, we must have bread. Go, take some ships and buy wheat and grain. Let us make bread. And he went to Sicily. Sicily was the bread basket of southern Europe. It had plenty. And when he arrived in the port called Licata in Sicily, he wrote a letter to the Grand Master, and we have that letter because he always kept a copy. We have 600 of his letters. The first letter is the 22nd juillet, 22 juillet 1703, 1703, and he is writing from Sicily. He's saying, Altesse, Your Highness, we have arrived safely, thank God. The gold law, which we have with us, is now en sécurité, on land. Huh? He said, the people gave us a very splendid accueil, welcome. And he said, tomorrow we will start negotiations with the farmers and with the agents, with the agents. It's good news, all of it. One thing left to say. He wants to keep his job. He is full of respect. And he says, please believe me, Your Highness, when I write to you, je fais une obéissance profonde. I make you a very low bow. Probably that was not true, because he was writing a letter. It looks good. Huh? The statue is a treasure of this house. St. Paul. St. Paul with the viper is always Malta, because you read in the Actes des Apôtres, of the Apostles, that when he arrived, naufrage, the big, he was shipwrecked, he was bitten by a snake. The statue is a treasure because it is from the Seicento, and it is the modello for the big statue of St. Paul. And that is a modello for a merchant ship, ce n'est pas de la guerre, hein? It is for, how do you say, commerce. And in Malta we had a very big marine, a very big navy, but also we had commercial ships. And that is from the 1700s. We were souverain, we were a sovereign state, so prestige also was very important. That is why we produced a lot of high quality things. Our dentelle, our lace, was among the best, one of the best in Europe. The competition, of course, was all over the place, especially in the middle of the 18th century. I have been talking about old things. Now, perhaps we say something modern. Look, a piece of Maltese lace. But it is not the type you will find in the shops, because it is impossible to sell. Every year in this house we have the competition of lace, not exhibition, competition. And nothing is for sale. So the best makers come, and the banks now help us with the prize money. Huh? Last year, one woman was one of the winners. I said, congratulations. How long to make? And she said, dites-moi vous, you tell me. And I guessed 80 hours.
80 hours? 80 hours?
80
80
80 heures.
And she said, vous savez rien. She said, you know nothing. I said, why? Because you cannot sell something, a small bag for 80 hours work, an expert. She told me 750 heures.
750 heures.
750 hours work. It is impossible to sell. But it is the quality of the old days, which is, we have a renaissance, we have a revival, because now they are making for themselves, for the competitions. Huh? And she did not give this to us.
Yes.
It's too much. She lends it, prête, she lends it to us. And she comes to see us quite a lot. She wants to see it is still there, huh? To be sure.
To be sure.
We saw some beautiful things this year. But in the old days, when you employ somebody, it was forever, not for an hour or for, you know what I mean? They did la calculation de l'heure, ça
Ça n'existait pas.
Well, here we have hats and shoes and dresses, a complete collection. We could make a museum. We have things from the 18e siècle, from the 18th century, from the 19th century. We even go down to the Art Deco period. We have some beautiful things, but it is very difficult to organize costume. We need experts. Maybe in another generation it will happen. For now, we are preserving. But the collection grows because people give us things. They never impressed. I was very pleased. That is a collection mon père, my father made. On the left, bric-a-brac, bits and pieces. And this is chess. Huh?
아이보리?
どうやろ
아이보리야네?
We have the buckles,
Buckles,
for the
okay.
shoes, the old spectacles, the early match boxes. Look there, you see underneath when they scratch the match.
これはオイスターシェル？あ、違うね。これ何シェル？シェルでしょ？
うんシェルやろ
See, this is the Renaissance couronne here. This is just a theory. But these are Lali. This is of course from China. The white king, le roi blanc, européen, he's European.
Yes.
So they are selling to Europe. Huh?
That is Napoleon?
That is Napoleon. That is only a bit of a set. But we think that set was made for carriages which were shaking. They make a cushion, you know, with the chessboard embroidered. And so you, when you watch a special story. Because this was made for a chevalier from France. And he had a long name. Victor Nicolas de Vachon-Belmont. And he was 12 years old when he came to Malta as a page. He was a cadet, a younger son, not an héritier. Huh? So this was usual. They used to come with one of their family and they would got the job in the palace, page, very smart. And after 3 years, if these boys are good, they will be reassessed to see if they can stay. Sometimes they say, back home, it's not the right character. This is a lot of charity work. And De Vachon is perdu, he's lost after 3 years. Ce n'est pas d'importance. But we will find him une autre fois, again, when he is 40 years old, à 40 ans. Now he is like a prince, Capitaine Général, Captain General of the galleys.
Les galères.
2 ans seulement, only 2 years, because otherwise, agrandir la tête, the head gets too big. It was a very grand job.
Vous prenez la grosse tête.
Yes. The grand maître, the grand master, cadeau, gave him the sedan chair, the chaise à porteur. And the grand master was called Pinto.
Pinto.
And this blason over here is De Vachon, la vache. He was a good man, a very good man, De Vachon. In 1798, he was an old man. he always gave his possessions away, his furniture from his house. He was always helping the poor people, a real good hospitalier, a good hospitaler. Napoleon came and said, everybody out. And De Vachon said, non, je reste ici, I stay here. 2 years later, les Anglais, the English are here. Et les Anglais et les Français, comme toujours, petit peu comme ça, non encore. You understand that? I say English and the French a little bit. So we have a situation. The English, avec curiosité, they are curious, they want to meet him. And when they find him, il est pauvre, he's very poor. And they say, this is not good. He is a good man. Everybody says, we must help him. Et les Anglais a donné un pension. The English gave him a pension. He will live